It's Friday, October 13. In the headlines, 120 Jamaicans to be honored on Heroes Day, Monday, October 16. It's open day for one of Jamaica's most renowned entity, the Bureau of Standards. In business news, JMMB Group to launch cross-border service. Regionally, in Barbados, that country says there is a need for culture safety. Internationally, students rally in protest across the United States. And in sports, Guyana's Kimo Paul will miss the upcoming CG United Super 50 Cup. In entertainment news, it's all about the celebration of heritage and culture. This is the Weekend News on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. Jamaica will be celebrating National Heroes Day, Monday, October 16. The celebration first started in 1969 in honor of the great individuals who fought for our freedom and liberty. This year, 120 persons will be recognized at the 2023 National Honors and Awards Ceremony, which will be held on the lawns of King's House, beginning at 9 a.m. During the ceremony, 5 outstanding Jamaicans will be conferred the Order of Jamaica, OJ, the country's 4th highest honor for service to the nation in various fields. The OJ recipients are Anglican Archbishop of the West Indies, His Grace the Most Reverend Dr. Howard Gregory, for service to religion. Marcia Lyneth Griffiths, CD, for sterling contribution to reggae music locally and internationally. Audley Shaw, CD, MP, for sterling contribution to political administration in Jamaica. Charles Henry Johnston, CD, for outstanding contribution to Jamaica's shipping and logistics industry. And Paul Barnaby Scott, CD, for exceptional contribution to the business industry, investment and philanthropy in Jamaica and the Caribbean. 27 persons will be conferred the Order of Distinction in the rank of Commander. 36 will receive the Order of Distinction in the rank of Officer. 2 civilians will receive the Badge of Honor for Gallantry. And 28 will be conferred with the Badge of Honor for Meritorious Service. 29 will receive the Badge of Honor for Long and Faithful Service. The National Honors and Awards Ceremony will be preceded by Salute to the Heroes, the laying of floral tributes to officials of state and government at the monuments, honoring the 7 national heroes at the National Heroes Park in Kingston. You can watch the proceedings live on PBCJ and on our social media platforms starting at 8 a.m. Jamaicans are invited to the Bureau of Standards Open House at their offices located at 6 Winchester Road in Kingston. The Bureau of Standards is a statutory body established to promote standardization in relation to commodities, processes and practices, as well as certification, testing and calibration. Attendants will hear and see the various areas of service that the BSJ provides. Communication and Customer Service Manager Maxine Fagan says her team is prepared to host the various groups as well as those who will join online and on radio.
So we have sent out invitations to schools, we have some tertiary institutions, we have high schools. So those individuals will be coming into the laboratories, touring the laboratories. We'll be having presentations from our technical experts here as part of that open house event. We will be having giveaways, we'll be having presentations, the tours, I mentioned that. And a part of that open day event, we will be having a live radio outside broadcast. So RJ 94 FM, 2 Live crew, they will be on location here. We have some partners that are going to be celebrating World Standards Day with us.
She says entrepreneurs will find the event helpful as they will be able to learn how they can benefit from the services provided, like product testing and more.
We have the library here, we have our client services program, because persons may think of the Bureau just about in relation to the testing services, perhaps more so, but I can tell you this, we have a training arm. We provide training courses to industry. We have the library, so if it is that you have a particular interest in a business venture and you perhaps are aware of a particular standard, you may not understand it or it may seem a little bit intimidating. We have our team members who are willing to sit with you, to walk you through it, and you may view any standard that you desire free of cost in our library here at the BSJ.
Friday's open house is being held as part of commemoration activities leading up to the World Standards Day 2023 on Saturday, October 14. It's being celebrated under the theme Shared Vision for a Better World, incorporating SDG 3. Make haste and recycle your waste. That's the theme for the electronic waste exposition being held by the National Solid Waste Management Authority, the NSWMA, on Saturday, October 14. The e-waste exposition will be held at its head office located at 61 Halfway Tree Road, St. Andrew, starting at 10 a.m. Executive Director of the NSWMA, Audley Gordon, shared some information about the event at a recent JIS think tank.
And we will be appealing to people, as we have been doing since the start of the year, especially. We have set up our offices around the country. We have put in place measures where e-waste can be handled and stored temporarily until our trucks will go for them. And we are appealing to people on the 14th to come down to our offices on Halfway Tree Road, come and learn a little about this dangerous substance and this danger to the society, to the environment. And also, if you have e-waste that you want to discard, that's a good day to take it down also.
E-waste refers to any equipment with plugs, cords, and electronic components that are at the end of their useful life. These include mobile phones, personal computers, peripherals such as printers and keyboards, televisions, and associated cabling. The expo is being held in commemoration of International E-Waste Day, a yearly awareness-raising event initiated by the Waste, Electrical and Electronic Equipment Forum and its members. It aims to highlight the growing issue of electronic waste and promote responsible e-waste management.
It is important to note that while we enjoy these gadgets, whether it be the circuit board, the switches, the batteries, they are laden with hazardous material, especially that nice pic that you see on the screen. There is a tube in there, and there's something called cathode ray tube. That's cathode, C-A-T-H-O-D-E, cathode ray. It's very hazardous if that tube is broken.
The NSWMA is responsible for the management of solid waste in Jamaica. The agency's mandate is to safeguard public health and ensure that waste is collected, stored, transported, recycled, and reused or disposed of in an environmentally sound manner. In the extended business report with Danita Rodney, we'll hear about the launch of JMMB's cross-border service, plus your usual market updates and more. Over to you, Danita.
Welcome to the Business Report. I'm Danita Rodney. In this week's report, JMMB Group is planning to launch a cross-border service for faster and more cost-effective international payments through its remittance arm. The aim of the new service is to address the needs of small and medium-sized businesses engaged in cross-border trade. The reveal was made by the group's CEO, Keith Duncan, during the company's annual general meeting held last week.
Now, everybody understands the pain points that we face in doing a wire. Small businesses, they don't know if the wire gone, if it reached, if it not reached yet, they don't know. And therefore, in partnership, we have been able to build out a new product, and it's our cross-border service.
According to Mr. Duncan, the new service will allow for businesses to track international transfer within a day at a reasonable cost.
Under a day, because I know if we can do it in an hour, but you can track, and that payment will be in the international beneficiary account that you are trying to hit, at a fraction of the cost of what wires cost us nowadays. We don't settle fully on the pricing yet, but we know that this is going to be a product that is going to be very beneficial and a winner for small businesses as they continuously trade.
Mr. Duncan continued to express his confidence in the new product by calling it a winner.
If we can effect cross-border payments in a more efficient manner than they're done right now at a cheaper cost, faster, then we know we have a winner.
Jamaica is getting a boost in climate resilience financing. On Wednesday, it was announced that the government will collaborate with the Inter-American Development Bank, Green Climate Fund, United Kingdom, and the European Investment Bank. Minister of Finance and the Public Service Nigel Clark explained how the funds would be used to enhance mitigation and adaptation efforts.
This includes an innovative project preparation facility that will be funded by our multilateral and bilateral partners and will provide the resources that can allow us to develop at a faster clip large infrastructure projects that can improve the delivery of public services in Jamaica. The second component is a domestic green financing facility, which we are calling the Jamaica Green Financing Facility, that domesticates the process for accessing financing for climate resilient and climate smart infrastructure and similar investments.
Now for your market updates. In foreign exchange trading for Thursday, October 12, the US dollar sold for an average of $156.14. The Canadian dollar ended trading at $115.02. The pound sterling traded for $190.93, and the euro sold for $165.52. In GSE trading, the GSE index advanced by over 2,691 points. The junior market index advanced by over 19 points. The combined market index advanced by over 2,694 points. And the All-Jamaican Composite Index advanced by over 2,102 points. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 100 stocks, of which 46 advanced, 39 declined, and 15 traded firm. Stocks advanced for 138 Student Living Jamaica Limited Verbal Preference, Access Financial Services Limited, and AMG Packaging and Paper Company Limited. Stocks declined for Barita Investments Limited, Berger Paints Jamaica Limited, and Caribbean Insurance Brokers Limited. Trading firm were 138 Student Living Jamaica Limited, Caribbean Producers Jamaica Limited, and Darimon Trading Company Limited. The overall volume leaders were JMMB Group 7.25% preference shares with over 20 million units, Wigton Wind Farm Limited ordinary shares with over 4 million units, and Trans Jamaican Highway Limited with over 1 million units. In regional stocks in Trinidad and Tobago, the mutual fund market did not record any activity. On the Barbados Stock Exchange, First Caribbean International Bank was the volume leader with 160 shares. They were followed by Epic Caribbean Property Fund, Value Fund, and Emera Deposit Receipt, which traded 95 and 10 shares respectively. In regional business, there is another electronic money provider authorized to operate in Trinidad and Tobago. More in this report.
Digicel has been awarded a provisional registration by the Central Bank of Trinidad and Tobago to issue electronic money domestically through MyCash. On the Central Bank's website, it was confirmed that MyCash had been granted permission to issue e-money in this country from October 2nd, 2023. MyCash is a limited liability company incorporated on May 8, 2023 in Trinidad and Tobago by Digicel as a separate legal entity to manage its e-money issuer business. The provisional registration allows MyCash to provide digital currency for a 6-month period initially. MyCash is now the 4th e-money issuer not connected to a local bank, registered by the central bank following PayWise, TSCT's Paper, and Pesh Money.
In international business, Wall Street's main indexes closed lower after a U.S. Treasury auction sent bond yields higher, while investors were already digesting data that showed consumer prices rose more than expected in September.
The Dow dropped 0.5%, while the S&P 500 and NASDAQ slid about 0.6 each. U.S. 10-year yields hit a session high above 4.7% after a U.S. Treasury auction. Will Rhines, CEO of ETF company Granite Shares, said he is paying close attention to the moves.
Clearly, what has sort of stalled the stock market rally, at least over the last few weeks, has been rising yields. And I think that rising yields has been something that clearly is, first and foremost or front and center of investors' minds, given that, the interest rate hikes that we've seen, have been very high. But obviously, the higher that rates go from here, the more chance there is of something breaking in the system and a recession or something deeper happening.
A surprise jump in rental costs pushed consumer prices higher last month, while the annual increase in the core figure, which excludes volatile food and energy components, was the smallest in 2 years. Traders now see a stronger chance the Fed might end up delivering another interest rate hike this year after looking at Thursday's data. Stocks on the move included Fastenal. Shares of the industrial supplies company rose nearly 8% after it topped earnings expectations. And shares of Ford lost 2% after the United Auto Workers Union expanded its strike at the company's biggest and most profitable factory. The focus shifts to earnings Friday as big banks including JP Morgan Chase and Wells Fargo report quarterly results before the opening bell.
In market data for oil prices leapt $3 after the U.S. tightened its sanctions program against Russian crude exports, raising supply concerns in an already tight market, with global inventory forecast to decline through the fourth quarter. Brent futures rose $2.88 to $88.88, and West Texas Intermediate crude gained $2.91 to $85.82 a barrel. And that was the business report on PBCJ. I'm Danita Rodney. Back to you, Simone.
Thanks, Danita. In regional news, in Barbados, a top emergency management official is stressing the importance of training and volunteers in the process of disaster preparedness mitigation. Word of this from the Director of Department of Emergency Management, Kerry Hines. She says it is incumbent that all Barbadians know the business of disaster management to foster a culture of safety.
Disaster management is not just the business of the Department of Emergency Management or the Ministry of Education or the police service, but really it is the business of all of us. All of us live and operate in this 166 square miles, and it is important that we protect our investment, protect our people, and engender a culture of safety.
This shelter and shelter management training initiative for civil society organizations has been an instrumental part of our program that we've been delivering over the years. And having done this particular component of the customized training this year with the able skills and knowledge of our instructors has lent itself to seeing how we can be in a better position to respond when shelters are activated.
Guyana is on the brink of surpassing its local demand for ginger, as a whopping 3 million pounds will be produced by the end of this year. More in this report.
This was announced by President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali as Guyana continues along the road to becoming a net exporter of food in the region.
By the end of this year, I'm told, just one project we're going after. We'll produce close to 3 million pounds ginger in excess of our national demand.
The sum of $153 million was allocated this year to enhance the processing capabilities at Hosororo, Parika, and along the Swiss Dyke-Linden Highway, aimed at increasing ginger and turmeric production. In the first half of this year, 965 farmers were provided with the planting materials to support cultivation of these crops. Additionally, President Ali said by 2025, Guyana would be producing corn and soybeans to meet local demands, and by 2027, it would be exporting these commodities.
In international news, rallies have been held at college campuses around the United States in support of Palestinians. The largest protests were in New York, where students at 3 universities held demonstrations, and more protests are expected on Friday. More from Al Jazeera.
College campuses in New York turned into places of protest, many supporting the Palestinians, frustrated with what they say is one-sided U.S. media coverage of the conflict.
I believe that the U.S. and the media has been very much on Israel's side without realizing that Palestinians have been going through suffering for 75 plus years at the hands of Israelis.
At Columbia University, hundreds gathered to chant in support of Gaza, while others voiced support for Israel.
I'm Jewish, I'm Israeli, my mother's Israeli, I have family there, and honestly, we're in pain. Our community was attacked.
But only Columbia students with IDs could enter the campus to attend the rally. Others were turned away. Police say it was out of safety concerns. Outside campus, where others gathered, some said Israel's response to the Hamas attack was too much.
What was done in Israel and the killing of all those innocent families and children, the taking of hostages, it was terrible. But the response is even worse. Going into Gaza and starving the people, shutting off electricity, of food, of water. I mean, killing. The killing is going to go on, and we in this country are paying for it.
For many of the people we spoke to, the issue was not just about Palestinian suffering, but also about justice.
You cannot expect people who have been oppressed for 75 years to sit down in their rooms, write poetry, write books, novels, and not fight back. That's the truth. Everywhere injustice happens, there's a problem. You know, you can't stand on one side and see what's wrong on both sides and just stand by one side.
On college campuses in New York and across America, where protest has become the way to show solidarity and call for peace. Gabriel Elizondo, Al Jazeera, New York.
Israel and the White House is condemning remarks by Donald Trump in which he praised the militant group Hezbollah and criticized Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu over an attack by Hamas militants that killed more than 1,300 people in Israel.
As the war between Israel and Hamas militants continues, Israel's government and the White House are condemning comments by former US President Donald Trump over the crisis. That includes criticism of Trump's once close ally, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, saying the leader wasn't prepared to handle the Hamas massacres in Israel.
Just remember how much safer the world was under the Trump administration.
And Trump praised Lebanon's Hezbollah group, which has since attacked Israel from the north.
You know, Hezbollah is very smart. They're all very smart. The press doesn't like when they say it.
Hezbollah is backed by Israel's arch-enemy, Iran. Israel's communications minister has said the comments are shameful, hurts Israel's morale and war effort, and that it shows Trump can't be relied on. The White House is calling what Trump said dangerous and unhinged, and that this is a time to stand shoulder to shoulder with Israel. Several Republican challengers for the presidency have also condemned it, including Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who called it absurd. Trump made his comments at a campaign rally in Florida. He also went further, claiming that Netanyahu decided at the last minute not to participate in Trump's order to assassinate Iranian General Qasem Soleimani 3 years ago.
In sports, Guyana's Harpy Eagles head coach Ryan Hercules said the services of all-rounder Kimo Paul will be missed in the upcoming CG United Super 50 Cup. The regional tournament will be played from October 17 to November 11 in Trinidad. And Paul will play no part, having not fully recovered from an injury he suffered during the Caribbean Premier League. Hercules, in an exclusive interview with Newsroom Sport, explained that with a view to his long-term development, Paul was not rushed back into the Guyana setup.
Injuries continue to be a concern for Kimo Paul. Got that injury when he was starting to peak really in the CPL, and he will miss the Super 50. How big a loss is that for the Harpy Eagles?
Yeah, I mean, we know what Kimo can bring to a side on the field, even off the field in the dressing room, his energy, his motivation as well. So yes, we are going to miss Kimo Paul. We know he was with us for the 4-day for just, I think, one game. And even for him playing one game, it was such a big impact, helping us to win that 4-day title. So I'd rather him make sure he gets rest and recover well, because for me, I'm thinking long term. I don't want to just push him to play 4 or 5 games for us, and then we'll cost him something more in the back end. So for me, yes, we're going to miss him, but I think we still have a good side that could go out there and play competitive cricket. And just wish him all the best in his recovery. And make sure he get all the times he need to come back into cricket when we need him.
The Trinidad and Tobago Red Force men will begin their CG United Regional Super 50 campaign against the combined campuses and colleges at Queen's Park Oval in St. Clair. TTT Sports has more.
The team has been in training at the National Cricket Centre, where all aspects of their game have been worked on. Head coach David Furlong says selecting a final squad is the most difficult process, but is satisfied with the team thus far.
It's a difficult choice to leave out some players, but in the end, the selectors saw that there's the best combination of players we need going forward to do well in the tournament.
The Regional Super 50 will be played in its entirety in Trinidad between October 17th and November 11th, 2023.
This week, Jamaica celebrates its heritage, one of the most crucial parts of our identity as Jamaicans. Heritage celebrations help to preserve this identity and our culture, which sets us apart from all other countries. National Heritage Week is observed annually during the week leading up to the third Monday in October, National Heroes Day. In celebration of the country's rich heritage, here is a young poet from Merle Grove High School showcasing Jamaican heritage in the arts.
Malika Island by Mia McLeod. I love Malika Island, Jamaica, the people, the music and the culture. No way no better than Jamaica. I love Malika Island, Jamaica. Breakfast time and stamp and go. When dinner time come, I run the curry goat with the rice and peas and the nice pork. When such a day come, I run the curry goat. I love Malika Island, Jamaica, the people, the music and the culture. No way no better than Jamaica. I love Malika Island, Jamaica. I love Malika Island, Jamaica.
We're not done yet. Here's a look at how other schools celebrate Jamaica's heritage.
I feel we culture this. I feel we culture. I feel we culture this. It's in the food we eat and the way we greet. I feel we culture. Daddy Marcus, Daddy Marcus, Daddy Marcus, Daddy Marcus, Daddy Marcus, Daddy Marcus. In Jamaica today, we learn of a very great hero. Born in the parish of St. Anne in 1887. A man with a vision of pride was a great man, Marcus Garvey, who found the universal ledger in women association. Daddy Marcus, Daddy Marcus, Daddy Marcus, Daddy Marcus.
Jamaican culture can be so educational and so entertaining. Well, that's it for the news on PBCJ. You can follow us on our social media platforms at PBCJamaica. Thank you so much for watching.